Mike Gallagher.
Or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is just supporters.
Wow. Brent Gardner is the Chief Government Affairs Officer and Senior Vice President at Americans for Prosperity. He joins us here on the Mike Gallagher Show. Brent, we're going to talk about AFP and the terrific grassroots effort you guys are in the middle of with 6 days to go. But let's start with Biden's comment last night, because if you were writing a Hollywood movie about a supposedly neck-and-neck election and you had the sitting president condemn more than half the country as garbage 7 days before the election, I don't think they would pass the test in Hollywood. I think they think that's too crazy and too bizarre a concept. Was this the Joe Biden, Kamala Harris deplorables moment last night?
Well, Mike, I guess we'll find out in 6 days. I think this is the kind of rhetoric that, though was only limited to Hollywood before, it's certainly the kind of thing we've had to get used to in our elections of late, and it's just disappointing.
It's beyond disappointing. And in fact, I have to note that Trump was told on stage by Marco Rubio last night about Biden's comment. And it was kind of, and it unfolded in real time. And I was fascinated by Trump's reaction because they took a close-up of him. And he was disappointed too. Brent, you used the word disappointed. You could just see Trump shake his head. And he looked not, euphoric at the political opportunity he was handed. He was disappointed. And it is sad. It's sad that we've been called fascists, we've been called deplorables, we've been called Nazis, and now we're being called garbage. And look, this is an election. It's a turnout election. If people show up, Republicans are going to win. And it's not just the presidential race. It's the down ballots. It's House, Senate. Can we talk a little bit about the AFP firewall strategy? Because you guys have one for the House and the Senate, and it's so impressive, and I want to make sure we share it with everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the news of today is that just today we've crossed 15 million voter contacts and over 1 million in Pennsylvania alone. So when you look at the challenges that we face today, the policies that are impacting Americans every day, the reason they're going to the polls, that the threat of a progressive sweep is actually, and has been, closer than most people would like to admit. So AFP has been focused on a strategy to ensure that we had robust operations to go out and deliver the type of members that we need in the House and Senate, that at the very least would prevent and create a firewall to prevent some of those worst ideas. And we have one for both the House and the Senate. And as you heard from those numbers a moment ago, it's really having an impact. These folks have gotten out there. They've had the conversations at the driveways and doorsteps across this country with phone calls and outreach in communities. And we've been able to have those real conversations that have given us a chance to be in a position as we close in on the end of this election where, while we have to run through the tape, we've made up enormous ground, and where these House and Senate candidates have helped to define themselves on the issues that are impacting Americans every day.
Brent, it seems to me that the two defining issues for 2024 are two issues that AFP has been all over: cost of living and border security. This is something that Americans for Prosperity, you've been knocking on doors, and you've been holding incumbent Democrats accountable. Brent, some of these folks have been in office for over 20 years.
Yeah, absolutely. These are the folks who've helped deliver on the Biden-Harris administration's promises and who would come back and do it again if reelected. And the great news about this election cycle is candidate quality. Guys like Ricketts and Brown, Moreno, these are the types of folks who can come out and make a big difference. You've got McCormick in Pennsylvania, Hovde in Wisconsin, and Mike Rogers in Michigan. These are the kinds of folks that can push back on these bad policies that are impacting people. Because the thing we hear most at the doors is people talking about gas, talking about groceries, talking about a broken immigration policy and the chaos at the southern border. These folks are looking for results, and we've got real candidates that can make a difference. In addition to the 7 senators that we're supporting from AFP A, we have 44 House members. These are the types of folks that can sit in majorities and do the right thing on these important pieces of policy as we move into next year.
I'm always impressed at the Grassroots Army from AFP, and I want to make sure our audience knows how they can get involved as well, because really nobody has a better, organic movement than AFP. Tell us how our audience can get involved, what you hope it could be the takeaway from you visiting with us today on the Mike Gallagher Show.
Yeah, absolutely. Go to afpaction.com. It's incredibly important that folks encourage people to get out there and vote, but don't just ask them to vote. Go out there and ask them to vote all the way down the ticket. Ask them to make a plan. Going that one step further is the difference between getting someone who says that they'll vote and maybe actually delivering them to the polls. Tell them they can go on election day. Tell them to know about opportunities to early vote. Make sure that we get every person who's able to get out there and do the right thing for these great candidates to go out and do it, make that plan, and help drive it through to election day, because it's going to be whoever runs through the tape on this thing that's going to win.
Brent Gardner, Chief Government Affairs Officer, Senior VP at Americans for Prosperity. I appreciate your support and all the work you guys are doing. You keep fighting the good fight, my friend.
Thanks, Mike.
Appreciate it.